Namaste, welcome to Brains Biology. Okay friends, today let us understand about the phylogenetics, molecular sequencing technique and phylogenetic tree. See friends, phylogenetics and molecular sequencing technique, these two templates will create the phylogenetic tree. So I am bringing the three topics together to make you understand how actually phylogenetic tree is constructed. Okay, let us understand first phylogenetics. What does phylogenetics means? Phylogenetics means, the definition goes like this: the study of evolutionary relationship among the organisms is called as phylogenetics. Okay, to understand little bit better about what does phylogenetics means, what does evolutionary relationship means, I am bringing one conceptual concepts to make you understand how actually this phylogenetics study works. See, are we related with yeast? Are we related with plants? Are we related with chimpanzees? Yes, we are related with chimpanzees, right? Okay, we are related with every organisms of this planet. I don't mean to say we are related directly with them. I don't mean to say I are related directly with the genetic perspective. I am speaking here evolutionary perspective here. If you want to know when you and yeast, when you and plants, when you and chimpanzee had a common ancestor, if you want to understand that, you need to study phylogenetics. That's what is study about. The study of evolutionary relationship among organisms is called as phylogenetics. And one more thing, if you want to know that when was the first parents of this planet, I mean when was the first parent who gave life for this planet, if you want to understand that also, you want to study phylogenetics. Okay, you may ask me this, sir, what is the technique which we used to find out the evolutionary relationship among organisms? Yes, there are techniques. There are two major techniques to find out when we and any organisms of this planet had a common ancestor. Those techniques are phylogenomics and molecular sequencing technique. These two techniques we usually use to study the evolutionary relationship among organisms. Okay, let us understand what does phylogenomics means. Phylogenomics means, students, if you employ genomics and study the evolutionary relationship among the organisms, that sort of study is called as phylogenomics. Okay, in phylogenomics also we have two types. What are those types? Means comparative genomics. This is the first type, and second is metagenomics. Okay, let us understand first what does comparative genomics means. Comparative genomics means it's very simple. See, what is your idea here? You want to study the evolutionary relationship among yeast. Consider, I want to study the evolutionary relationship among yeast. What I do is, I will simply take the genome of yeast. I will simply take the genome of me. What I will do, after sequencing, I will get the data. The data which I got in my hand, what I will do, I will compare with these two organisms. This is me and this is yeast. When you compare the organisms, when you compare the nucleotides of the genome of any organisms, the data which you get, after getting the data, you will get information that how closely we are related with yeast and how distantly we are related with this yeast. If you want to know this, you need to study comparative genomics. This is the study of comparative genomics. If you compare the organisms of, it may be of anybody, you may take plants and yeast, you may take chimpanzees and yeast, you may take chimpanzees and humans. If you want to know how closely and how distantly we are related with each other, you need to simply, that is the simple technique, that is simple and basic technique, you need to study comparative genomics. What is metagenomics then? I hope you are clear with comparative genomics. What is metagenomics then? Metagenomics is very much important. This metagenomics we usually use to discover archaeas. We don't use this technique to usually to discover most of the organisms like chimpanzees and all those things. We usually use to discover the archaeas or the extremophiles. What we do in this technique is, let us understand. Consider you want to discover one archaea. Consider of Euryarchaea family or Archaea family. What you do is, what scientists usually do is, they will go for the source of the archaeas where it is present. After finding the source where archaea are present, what they do is, consider archaea is floating on the water body. What they will do is, they will pick up the sample of archaea. After picking the sample of archaea, what they do immediately is they will subject them to fractionation. Why they will subject them to fractionation? Because archaeas are not culturable in the lab. So that is the reason what they do is they will immediately do the fractionation. After fractionation, they will take out the genome from that organism and they will sequence it. After sequencing, they will get some data. That data they will compare with the previous sequence organisms of archaea, and they will say that how closely this archaea is related with this and how distantly this archaea is related with this. After doing this, they will classify the organism. Will it go for the Euryarchaea, Crenarchaea, or Conarchaea? They will do something. If you want to study the especially archaea's classification, you need to employ the technique called metagenomics. I hope you are clear with comparative genomics and metagenomics. See, one more thing. Comparative genomics and metagenomics both employ molecular sequencing technique. These two employ molecular sequencing technique. Okay, let us understand what is molecular sequencing technique is about. See, in molecular sequencing technique also there are two types. What are those? Let us understand first. First is gene sequencing technique. And protein sequencing technique. See friends, what happens here is when you want to sequence the molecules, consider why I am speaking about molecules, because this is the what it is called, and what it is called, simply we can call this as this is the basic infrastructure. When you compare with the molecules, this you can get in basic infrastructure, especially gene or genome. Genome is considered as the basic infrastructure of an organism. See, I am not comparing here. One more thing, I am not comparing the traditional comparison like comparing the anatomy, comparing the morphology. What you will compare the morphology of yeast and humans? Yeast are almost unicellular. What almost? It is unicellular. We are multicellular. We have 600 trillion cells in our body. What you will compare? Even our digestive cells are itself in millions together. They are only few in numbers. What you will compare? Just imagine. What I am comparing is I am comparing their genome. What I am doing is I am comparing their molecules. In molecular sequencing technique, what we usually compare is one we will take gene or we will take protein. If you are not interested in gene, you can go for protein. Both are same. Gene is also molecule. Protein is also molecule. You can do. That is all about molecular sequencing technique. Molecular sequencing technique means you use molecules to study the evolutionary relationship. Okay, I want to take gene here. I am taking the gene of humans. I am taking the genome of yeast. I want to study the evolutionary relationship between I means humans and yeast. Okay, I am taking the genome of those two. What I will do is, first I will take the genome of what? Yeast. In yeast, I will take the genome of cytochrome C. I will take the gene cytochrome C. Cytochrome C. And in humans also I will take the genome of cytochrome C. Now I want to study in these two organisms when we both had a common ancestor. What I simply do is, after taking the genome of yeast, after taking the genome of human, what I will do is, simply what I will do, I will sequence both of this genome. What actually gene contains of nucleotides. I will sequence the nucleotides of humans. I will sequence the nucleotides of yeast. After getting the sequencing data, I will get a data. Consider in yeast I found that there are 200 nucleotides. Okay. In humans also I found that 200 nucleotides. Okay. I found actually 200 nucleotides in yeast and I found 200 nucleotides in humans. In that I found 120 of nucleotides are not identical. It means they are different. Here also I found that 120 nucleotides are not identical. They are different. It means in 120 in 200 I found 120 different and 80 is identical. I found 80 nucleotides as same. Okay, I found 80 nucleotides as same, but I found 120 different nucleotides. See, this is related with gene now. Okay, you are understood with that. I will go with protein now. You can take gene or you can take protein. I am taking protein. What protein consists of? Protein consists of amino acid. Consider in yeast I found 200 amino acids, and in humans also I found 200 amino acids. In that I found that 10 amino acids were same. In humans also I found 10 amino acids same, and rest 190 were different from each other. Consider, this is a common example. I am not taking the denomination here correct, like after sequencing I am taking randomly to understand you. I found that 10 were different and 190 were identical. See, in evolution actually one mutation usually takes 1 million years. In evolution, one mutation takes 1 million years. Consider I have 190 mutation now. See, when I say it is different from each other, it underwent the mutation. Consider I got 190 mutations in the proteins when I sequence yeast and human. Consider 1 into 190. 190 million years ago. See friends, I will say you that, see 190 million years ago, we and yeast had a common ancestor. This is all about evolutionary studies. In evolutionary relationship, you will find out the idea and the goal of the evolutionary relationship is you and any organisms of this planet when we two had a common ancestor. This is the idea of evolutionary relationship. I hope you are clear with this. Okay. After this, actually there is one more important technique which is called as 16S rRNA technique. 16S rRNA technique. This was first used by Carl Woese. He is the scientist which used the technique of 16S rRNA technique. Actually, this technique comes under gene sequencing technique in molecular sequencing technique. What he did was he took a particular gene of 16S rRNA. You may ask me that, sir, in which organism he took? He actually took in prokaryotes. In prokaryotes he took these genes. Actually, he took these genes from the smaller subunit of ribosomes. Consider somewhere here he took the gene from ribosomes, which is called as 16S rRNA. This was the gene he took from smaller subunit. This is ribosome. From the smaller subunit of prokaryotic organism, he took the 16S rRNA genes. After taking the 16S rRNA genes, he wanted to study that the evolutionary relationship among bacteria, especially he was a microbiologist. Carl Woese was a microbiologist. He wanted to study the evolutionary relationship among bacteria. After taking this 16S rRNA gene, what he did was he did this sequencing of that gene, particular gene of genome. After sequencing, he got a data. He understood something that. After understanding, he compared the genome of any bacteria. Like he took, consider this is one bacteria, and he took the genome of this bacteria and this bacteria. The genome, both of the gene was 16S rRNA. This was also 16S rRNA gene. What he did was he sequenced. He got something data. After getting data, he understood something. What he ultimately proposed was, he told that all the living organisms of this planet came from a common ancestor. That was the idea of his. When he proposed this, most of the credits he got, and this study itself outdated the five kingdom classification. Previous best classification was five kingdom classification, but the current best classification is three domain system. I will discuss this three domain system in my next lecture. After finding out, after discovering and after doing the research on the 16S RNA technique and evolution relationship, he got most of the credits, and what he told was every organisms of this planet came from the common ancestor. That common ancestor, he named it as universal common ancestor, UCA. He named it as UCA, and the abbreviation of this is universal common ancestor. And he also called it this UCA as universal tree of life. From here itself, every organism began to diverse. That diversity I will discuss in my next class of my video lecture, which is called as three domain system. In that I will discuss everything, how we divided organisms into three domains. Okay, I hope you understood everything about phylogenetics, what is molecular sequencing technique, and how to create phylogenetic tree. This I will discuss in my next video lecture. That's for the class students. Thank you.